In this video, we'll look at 4 questions and student answers from Dr. Frost Maths questions on compound interest. First question here, you've got Hannah invests £350 in an account that pays 3.5%. Compound interest per annum. How much will Hannah have after or in 12 years? So the calculation that you would do on this, you would say, well, if she's going to have 3.5% interest, you add that to the 100% you would begin with. So it's 100% plus 3.5%, which is 103.5%, which is a decimal, is 1.035. That is your decimal multiplier. And this calculation you don't need to write down, you would do hopefully in your head. So you've got 1.035. So we take the initial amount of money, which is £350. We multiply it by the decimal multiplier, 1.035, and we do it to the power of the number of years, which is 12. You put that into your calculator. Now the calculator says 528.8740301. We're dealing with money, so money would go to the nearest penny. So the answer is 528.87. If we look at the student answer, they said 529. They've rounded it to the nearest pound. That is incorrect. That's not what the question would want you to do. We need to do it to the nearest penny. Things to write down, you would definitely write down this calculation, and you can just write down the rounded answer. You do not need to put this workings, and you do not need to put this line. In this question, it says Lauren puts £600 in a bank account. The account pays 3% compound interest per year. And after 1 year, she withdraws £200. How much will she have in her account after 2 years? Now, because there's a withdrawal after the first year, you cannot use the compound interest method to solve this. You have to do each year separately. Now, we know that a 3% increase means that we use a 1.03 multiplier. %100% plus 3% equals 103%, which is 1.03 as a multiplier. So year 1, £600 multiplied by the 1.03. Put that into a calculator. 600 times 1.03. It's £18 interest, so it's a total of £618. Now, she withdraws £200. So 618 minus 200 is equal to 418. And then in year 2, we start with 418. We multiply again by 1.03. 418 multiplied by 1.03. And we end up with 430.54 exactly pounds. Now, looking at the student workings here, they've got 443.4562. Clearly, they've got the wrong answer. It was not clear where they got the number from. So my advice on a question like this, the calculations are not particularly odious. Just redo them. Do them again, just to double check that you're actually getting the same answer twice. This question involves comparing different amounts earned in different accounts. Before I go through the actual workings, I just want you to focus very quickly on the student answer. Now, we have 2 accounts that pay 2.5% and 3.5% for 3 years. The student says that Ali will receive £1,900 approximately in interest on an investment of £2,000. That means their interest is going to be, or their investment is almost doubled. Almost doubled in 3 years cannot be achieved by an interest rate of anything like 2.5% or 3.5%. So clearly that answer is wrong. Ben, in a similar way, he's gone from 1,600. His interest is even more than his original amount. Again, in a period of 3 years, at these low interest rates, that cannot be true. So whatever happens, those answers must be wrong. So let's look at each student or each person in turn. Look at Ali first of all. Ali invests £2,000 and it's in the cash savings account, which is at 2.5%. So the multiplier is 1.025 and it's to the power of 3 for 3 years. So on the calculator, you just put 2,000 multiplied by 1.025 power 3, and you get an answer of 2,153.78. The question asks who gets the most interest. So the interest is the difference. So it's 2,153.78 minus 2,000, which is 153.78. Next, we'll look at Ben. Ben has invested £1,600 and the interest rate is 1.035%, and that is for 3 years. So again, we put that into our calculator. So 1,600 multiplied by 1.035 to the power of 3. And we get an answer of 1,773.95 to the nearest penny. The interest that he gets is the difference. So it's 1,773.95 minus 1,600, which is 173.95. It does say work out who gets the most. So you would need to also put in the statement to say that Ben gets most interest. That statement could be important for the final mark. This sort of question looks far, far worse than it is. I just want to draw your attention to the number of marks. It's 1 mark. So although there's lots of writing here, it's actually a very quick question to answer. So it talks about Ketlan, who wants to invest a sum of money into a savings account. It talks about the bank account being called the Gower. It's got a minimum term of 1 year, minimum investment 1,000. Interest is paid every 6 months. That's probably the interesting bit. And the nominal annual rate is 4%. And the question is, give one reason why banks use annual equivalent rate, AER. Now, this is a real world question, and banks do quote an AER purely because bank accounts can often pay interest in a different way. This account, for example, pays every 6 months. Normally, it's every 12 months. That's what you're familiar with from a lot of the exam questions that you've seen. This one pays every 6 months. So to compare between different accounts, you have the AER. So in your answer, you just need to state that banks use the AER to compare different bank accounts. I think that's the best answer you can put. If we look at what the student put here, they use annual equivalent rates so they can keep track of our interest income. That's not good enough for the mark. They're looking for the words compare or comparison, or even work out or calculate within the right context. That would get you the mark. But remember, it's only 1 mark for this question.